just a few months ago, some housekeeping here, Doomslayer sold out in pre-order, right? From Doom Dark Ages. That doesn't mean it's not going to be available. So go in store when it hits stores in just a few weeks, so you can get all those great accessories like the pole visor, right? Which is really great. So this is our new high-end action figure. Comes fully loaded with cloth capes and a load of accessories, etc., etc. So look for this move coming down. In the same vein, Lilith is up for pre-order now from Diablo 4, 2-year anniversary of Diablo 4, one of the biggest game releases last year. Then Todd, you were at Anime Expo a couple weeks ago to reveal Protagonist Persona.
Yeah. So I went to anime. How many people been to the anime convention up in LA? Right? It is great. It is big at San Diego Comic-Con. So if you've never been there and you're into anime, you should get up there because it's 100,000 plus people that were there. We have had the videos and the pictures of this character, but I actually had the prototype, and I handed it to the crowd. And go, you're the only ones to ever actually hold this, so take a selfie with it and have a little bit of fun, and I hope I get it back. So one guy was running out the door, but we had a good time. Also, I'm gonna say, if you see in the corner there on the right, see Elite Points. Some of these products that we do with the Elite series, one of the things that's really fun is that if you buy something, you get points, and if you accumulate a certain amount of points, at each level you get free stuff, right? And at the top are prototypes, like literally one of one, and sometimes maybe one of two, one of three that we get from the factory when we're trying to make stuff, right? So I think we put like 20, 25 items up there. If you're the first one to get there, you get to pick whatever of the 25 you want. There's going to be a list of what's up there. So you go, wow, I get, there's 25, I want that one. You get to take it off the shelf and take it home. Next person that gets there now basically is left with 24. They take it and they just keep going or whatever else. But we wanted to make sure that we put some meaningful stuff up there. And one of ones, I think are kind of cool, right? And for no other reason, look, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You put it up on your shelf and make it look good. Or go to eBay and buy yourself a new car with the cash.
Two figures that just went up the other day from the Fallout universe. We are going to be doing a ton of Fallout figures. T60 up for pre-order now out of the gate, and NCR Ranger from Fallout New Vegas. So we're very excited about both of these figures. Obviously, you can see all the accessories that come in with the words are there that Tom was just speaking about. Staying within the Fallout universe, Fallout TV show. We have any fans of Fallout TV show?
Woo!
So Lucy, obviously the main character from Fallout Season 1, she's getting the late edition figure, but we're also going to have Fallout TV show figures in store. So this is just a sneak peek, so you get the Ghoul and Cooper Howard as a retail-only Jace, so there's going to be a lot more coming here from Fallout TV.
So go back to that last, can we go back to that last one? Yeah. So one of the things we're doing with a lot of the figures, I actually have the pieces here. Here she is right here. That we used to give like extra heads, or sometimes it got too expensive, or we want to give different looks. But now we give like different faces, and the way that it works, for some of you that haven't seen it, is that when you have different heads, you have to like pry your head off, and then put another one on, and pop it in, and again, you don't want it to be loose. So what you ran into at times was people being too aggressive, and they break it, they break the paint. And they're going, no, I can't put any heads on it, or whatever. The answer we came up with, it's like, we should have figured it out a long time ago, is just change out the face, right? Like keep the head, you don't have to remove the head, you change out the face. So if you took this figure right here, you could peel off her face, seems weird, and you can pop on the new face, and it's really easy to sort of interact with all of those. So, and we're doing it with a lot of figures, but that way it allows us to do a lot of different expressions on the figures, and you never have to break your toy, which is one of the things that people were complaining about.
On to Berserker and Boom. A year ago, we revealed the Berserker figure with Todd and Keanu Reeves. We'll recap that here.
So please give a very big call, a warm welcome to comic book legend, Mr. John McFarlane.
So here's why I'm here, right? It's obviously folks down here, and they've got Berserker here. We're fortunate enough, McFarlane Toys, we've got the license to be able to do this cover. So I have the prototypes for those toys with me. Yeah, I want to show. That's pretty impressive. But no, sir, we're ready to get production, beginning the process of rebuilding it, your end. Yeah. Thank you,
So let me tell you, Keanu is a geek, right? And I say that as a term of endearment. Here's what I found about celebrities as a whole. Most of them are kind of geeky themselves, right? And it's really fun to go, oh, okay, they don't look down at your nose. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I found was they actually like being action figures. Because they can only, if they're in a movie or TV show, it used to be they would give away to their family members CDs and DVDs of their shows, right? And just go, hey, here's the music and or here's the show. But you can't do anything with that. When you give them a toy, they can now give that to their nephews and their nieces and their aunts and their uncles, and they can put them up on the shelf, and they think it's super cool. Or if you do like some of the big figures and or statues, they really like it. They like to be in 3D. As a matter of fact, they kind of brag to each other if they have one and somebody else on set doesn't have one. Sort of like the athletes, the sports guys. They do that in the locker room. I got the Mcfarlane sports Bitcoin, you get yours, right? So I enjoy sort of being around them because you see them instantly turn into little kids going, oh yeah, I got my first action figure, it's fun.
So this is available at Walmart. There's also an NFT component. So you get a digital collectible of this figure, and I know it looks like there's 2 figures in the box, but it comes with all the parts to essentially assemble 2 figures. And you see all those accessories. So in the same vein as our Halloween edition here. So lots of stuff for Berserker.
Are we, can I,
Yeah.
I should know my own panel, but I don't. Are we going to talk about later about the one-of-one digital effect? Not this one.
Come on.
That's more?
I think so, yeah.
And my other
I
panel?
can pull up the slide here.
We can do it here.
Okay.
Here. At the end, we'll do it at the end. The cat's out. I thought we were just doing it later. I decided you forgot. Okay, go.
Mcfarlane sports picks, you just mentioned that. So we have all the NFL figures. There's so many here. I have subdivided by league here. So we've got the NFC figures here, 7-inch scale, so you can pre-order all of these now, and the AFC figures here as well. So look for these in store as we ramp up the NFL season.
The thing is cool. For 15 years we did the NFL. We actually did all sports, and we sort of stepped back and didn't do it for a while. The fun part about coming back to sports now is that there's a whole new wave of superstars, right? Because when we were doing it, there was a time at some point where I felt like every series we were doing Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or whatever. We were doing it like over and over. Now we've got this whole new crew of sort of the people that you have in your fantasy sports leagues and stuff, both for football, baseball, basketball, hockey, for all 4 of them. So we're pretty excited to be back in the sports end of it, right? Have it in all the good stores here, right? Again, look, we are only as good as you, people sitting in this room, right? You guys support us, then we all, it literally, the old cliche, the tide goes up and all the boats go with it, right? So not only does it allow us to keep making good toys, but it allows us to go to good people like people at Target and Walmart and Amazon, GameStop. It used to be years before that, Toys R Us and Kmart and stuff. And we're only as good as the success, right? The stores have to make money, and the way to make money is that the product we give them has to be good enough that you guys want it. So when you guys come and support it, it allows us to then go back to the retailers and say, hey, you want more? And if it's sold, the answer is usually, sure, we'll take more, right? So there's not a day that goes by that myself, my wife, our family don't understand that, like, we are up here, and I've had a 4-year career because of you good people, right? So if you guys get anything out of what we make, some of the stuff that I may do, even artistically, whatever, it's a two-way street, because you guys have allowed my family and I to have a good life for 40 years, so I'd like to thank all of you guys here for supporting us.
Where you started with Marvel here.
Oh, yeah, Marvel.
Right, there you go. So we've got our Marvel statues in 2 scales, so 6-inch and 12-inch scale. This is the next wave coming this fall, which includes corner box design.
The corner box. Can I tell a quick story about this corner box? I worked at Marvel comic books, and you guys know I did Spider-Man. And when I got to it, the corner box of Spider-Man was him running. I don't know if you guys remember that one? Where he was like doing this weird running pose. I'm like, why is Spider-Man running? It's not the Flash. Right? And so I said, hey, is there any way we can change it? And I did this drawing of him hanging upside down like a Spider-Man. It seemed weird, but they went, yeah, okay, cool. Anyways, I work for Marvel. Eventually we leave. We start Image comic books. My life goes on. 15 years after I leave Marvel comic books, I go to the mailbox, getting whatever is in there, and this one little envelope is there. And I go, I don't know, what's this? And I open it up and I shake it out, and the original art that I drew for that corner box falls out right there. And there's a little note. It was an accountant at Marvel. An accountant said, hey, I was doing some cleaning up in my office, and I looked at one of the files, and somebody was using this as a bookmarker. I asked, who was it? And they go, somebody said it was yours. I'm sending it back. So I actually own that piece of original artwork that somebody gave back to me. That accountant, he didn't know. He could have done himself a nice card too.
We've got Wolverine by Adam Cooper, James Scott Campbell's Ghost Spider, and then we're slowly finishing our X-Men #1 cover from Jim Lee and that Deadpool from Deadpool #1 as well. So lots more coming here. On the 1/6 scale, we got a few here. The Spider-Man #1 statue. Top with how many spiders on the cover?
They say 72, right? So again, if you look at the cover, the reason there was Spider-Man #1, there was a question mark underneath my name. I'll give again a quick silly side story. When I was doing Amazing Spider-Man, at a certain point I hid a spider on the cover. Lots of people don't know it, but I did. I hid a spider. If there was one spider, I didn't put a number. If there was more than one spider, I put a number. So sometimes you'll see a cover and it says Mcfarlane 3. That means there's 3 spiders. You should look for them. When I did this cover, when the first issue came out, I don't know if they were hidden or not, but I didn't know how they were going to dress this cover because it was an issue #1, and they usually put like these big bursts on it. They have it there. I didn't know they were going to put the banner at the top. I didn't know they were going to put the torment. I didn't know what they were going to do. So I couldn't count the number of spiders and put a number on there, and I put a question mark. Issue 12 comes out. I do a redo of them in the crouch in the black costume, and all the fan mail said that there were 72 of them. So if you look at that one, it said Mcfarlane 72. Nobody ever came up to me and said, how did you draw that in 1972? You were broke in 1985, right? But it's that there's 72 spiders on this one. Anyways, a little bit of sort of silly stuff.
So we have the red and blue one, obviously, there on the table, but we'll have the black cover you just referenced as a chasing hero. So check that out.
There's the spider you saw there, and then here's the Johnny Storm, right? The big one, Translucent. And you got that FF movie coming out today, right? So,
Yep, along with Human Torch and Silver Surfer as well, based on Jack Kirby, classic Jack Kirby cover.
yeah, Jack Kirby, one of the great, right? They didn't call him the king for nothing. I have a lot of things in my collection, ladies and gentlemen. My prized possession is a pencil page that I inked over Jack Kirby, but I inked over the cover. I don't know why I'm going to tell a comic book story, the toy thing, but I won't. Jack Kirby, they asked if Todd, you want to ink Jack Kirby? What? I get the ink, that's like being the opening act to Elvis. Yeah, sure, let's do it. I did it, and I inked it, and then I had to, and I don't know if you guys know, you erase at the end of it. And I was halfway through erasing, and I was horrified, I was erasing Jack Kirby pencil, right? So I finished erasing the page, because you have to when you're done inking. And I took all the shavings and I put them in a plastic bag and I kept that bag for a year. Because I couldn't bear the thought of throwing Jack Kirby pencils away. I'm like, no, this would be blasphemy. Anyways, I sent that in, they came back and they said, hey, Jack liked it so much, do you want to do a second one? And I go, yeah, sure, I'll do it real quick. And they said, I go, under one condition, I'm not going to ink on his actual pencils. I can't bear erasing them a second time. So can I do it on an overlay or tracing paper, whatever you want to call And they went, yeah, God, we don't care. You can use the erotic as you want. So, like, okay, so I did the cover, boom, I sent it out, blah, 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 blah. I'm sitting in my office, I get a phone call, Jack Kirby's on the other line. Jack Kirby's like, hey, Todd, just want to say you did a great job as a bang-up job, and my appreciation, I sent you something. 10 minutes later, I'm not lying, FedEx comes to the door, I open up the box, and I pull out, and there's the vellum overlay, the tracing paper of my aches. He gave it back to me. And I go, yes. And then I go, oh man, there's more. And I reach in, and there's the pencil page that I hadn't touched. So I still have that page. And at the bottom it says, great job, Todd. Jack Kirby, your friend. Right? And I'm like, oh man. And then Jack Kirby, I'm going to tell you how generous Jack Kirby is. That wasn't enough. He threw in a page of a Captain America bicentennial issue, a page that got inked by Barry Windsor Smith. He threw a page in that he did 30 years earlier, and another page of original artwork, right? This man was a saint, at least to me, right? So it was a good time. So it's fun to be able to do things that basically pay homage to some of the people you looked up to.
And then a lot of Jack Kirby creations are obviously getting new life, and so we're going to be breaking out of comics into Marvel Rivals in our statue next year. So we are feverishly tracking the most played players in the game or characters in the game. So Incredible Hulk and Venom are at the top of those lists from time to time. We have Iron Man and Spider-Man as well.
So whenever, Brian was saying, whenever we do video game stuff, we always go to the video game maker and go, look, you know your audience way better than we do. Who should we make, right? I mean, Marvel, obviously, they're gonna have their suggestions. We're gonna have art, but the people actually making the game and following all of that on the internet, they know, they have data. They literally collect data, and they just go, hey, here's the one. So we're gonna make sure that we do the ones that you guys are all sort of super excited about. We're just getting started on this game here.
Going back to a retro game here, Kombat Classic. So we've been revealing this slowly, but we have the actual figures here, both the single pack figures and the deluxe 2-pack, which I think is the coolest thing that we've gotten so far. So in the deluxe 2-pack, you get a battle base, you get fight stands, go to the next slide, and you get a ton of accessories. And then there's the single figures as well. We've got them on the side here. So Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Katana, Melina, etc.
Yeah, can I also say I'm always amazed when we get praised for doing what seems like super obvious stuff, right? Because we did the Mortal Kombat and some of the later versions of it, and then we went back to them, and given that Mortal Kombat 11 is popular because Mortal Kombat as a whole, the brand is popular, then you go back to them and you go, hey, anyway, we can do some of the early stuff. And we got to the point they went, yeah, sure. Like, if they like 11, they're going to like 1, 2, and 3, right? So we go and we announce, I remember the first day we announced Mortal Kombat 1. People went crazy. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Of course, if you do 11, of course one's going to be famous. That's the thing that started it, right? Like, so yes, sometimes we just do basic stuff. Let's do Mortal Kombat 1. And you go, man, you're a genius, Todd. Look at you guys. Sometimes it doesn't take much to get credit. I'm always amazed that doing simple stuff actually gets us people's enthusiasm at times.
We're going to be bouncing around MK1, 2, and 3, the original releases from the early 90s. So you're going to see those versions of those characters from those games over the next few years. We're going to jump to Spawn. Todd, we got a resin statue on the end there from Greg Capullo.
Yeah, we got Spawn here. Again, some things are articulated, some aren't. The thing that's cool here, besides it's got a cool base if I take it off, but the chains on here are all, like, the ones on the shoulder are all real, but the chains here are bendable. So you can put it up any way you want. I wouldn't overdo it, but you can make these things do whatever you want, because why in the comic book the chains are alive. So we like to try, just like Superman here, we like to have things that you can basically have a little bit of fun and do your posing on your own, right? So it's your toy, you should be able to do what you want. That's why a lot of statues, I don't know if any of you collected some of our statues, we used to make a lot of them where, like, you had the name of the brand in the front, and then I would put it like on You guys know what a lazy Susan is? It's like a turntable, right? Sometimes I go, is that a Canadian term? But, so you can turn it, and I think that you guys who buy it should be able to turn it to the angle you want, without having to go, if I turn it, then I'm not seeing the logo. So keep the logo, let them sort of turn it any way they want. People like the profile, people like the 3/4, whatever. So we try to have even on the statues and the stuff that doesn't move, some moment where you guys get to add your personal touch to it, so.
Just housekeeping here, we got the Robot Wars Spawn, which was an unproduced toy for years, finding that's market, along with the Deviant from Rhapsody, which is one of your good books.
Yeah, the Robot Wars was, you guys, anybody remember the original Spawn series that I did of toys when it first came out, right? The original, like, before the toys came out, we came out with the Spawn ones, right? I think we did 34 series. The Robot Wars was 35. And then the line got canceled, never to be produced, right? But I always thought they looked cool, right? Anybody, I like big chunky stuff, and when we were talking, I go, why don't we go back? We still have the mold. Why don't we go back and make those big cool robots, right? So that's what that's literally the toy that should have come out like in the 90s. Pardon me? That one was 34? There's some anal fan up here. So it came out, but we got 5 or 6 others that are coming down the pipeline. So it must be the other ones. We have the unused ones we've got coming down. But thank you. So it's good. You know more than me. That's good. I said, what do you want the people? So thank you, sir.
And then we've been celebrating your kind of first appearance Spawn in 1977 when you created the character.
Yeah. So we're going to be coming out with a comic book. Mark Spears is doing a series of it, and it's based on like the design that I did when I was 16 years old, when I first created Spawn. That's why we call it Spawn 77. I created Spawn in 1977 when I was 16, right? I was born in 61. And anyway, so it's not quite exactly how he ended up in 92 when the first issue came out, but it's not dramatically different, right? But so we go, let's just do a toy based on it, and then let's do a comic book coming out. Let's get to show that book off a little bit.
We're going to jump from one slide real quick. Music Maniacs, obviously some unfortunate news just a few days ago, just as we were posting our Ozzy Osbourne statue here, but I don't want to say
we've been able to make toys for Ozzy a couple different times, right? And I also recently, I don't know if it was the last music video I did, I directed a music video called Patient 9. So go to YouTube and you look. I got to direct Ozzy. It was the week before he had the spinal surgery that he ended up saying in his last video. But and Ozzy was like this in the limited amount of time that I knew him. Sharon was always super gracious. But, and I put a lot of people that are in the music business into this, but here's what struck me that day, because he came in, he was in severe pain, because he was going to have that operation the next week, so they said you got him for 4.5 hours, and then that's all the meds were off, and you got to get him out. So I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. He sat there, and again, as you can imagine, Stan Lee used to do the same thing when I was on stage with Stan Lee. When we were in the green room, he would pace himself. As a 90-year-old man, he would pace himself. Ozzy, because he was in pain, would pace himself. So I remember sitting there with him, and he'd have his head down, he's just trying to subdue the pain. And then I go, hey, Ozzy, we got the song's gonna come, and then I need you on that line if you can, like kind of maybe turn over here, and if you could, maybe shoot your arm out here, and then when that line comes there, if you could lean back, like whatever. And he had his head down, because he was trying to like somebody with a migraine. And then he looked at me and he said, today? And I went, yeah, we're shooting the music video today, yes, we're gonna do it. Okay. I didn't even know he heard what I had said. He was so into just suppressing his pain. And then, here's the magic moment. We turn on the music, that's how it works, music video. You turn on the music and they basically lip sync. And he was sitting there, down, and then I go, action, bam! And he came to alive And everything I told him, he hit every mark. I didn't think he was listening. And he went boom on that line, and then up, and he did the hand gesture. Like, if you look at that video, that's why I'm saying, go look at it and see how animated he is. That is a man that, like, in between, had to catch his breath because he was in severe pain, and unfortunately ends up not being with us today, right? But what's staggering to me about people like him is how, when it comes to entertaining, they never lose that piece. They just, no matter what's happening to them, I've seen it happen a dozen times, that people just, you put the spotlights on them, and they come alive. So, yeah, it's sad to see him go. He was a good man. He was very kind. Again, I don't know how he was to other people, but he was always kind to our family and everybody else. So it's a sad day.
We're going to turn to long-running DC Multiverse line. How many people saw Superman? So we have a full array of products. We have end caps at Target and Walmart. Product you can stop on Amazon. So go pick these up. There's exclusives at Target and Walmart as well. So lots to choose from. There's interchangeable faceplates on a lot of these figures as well.
Yeah, and can I also add, it's always interesting when you do either an exclusive or a short run of something, or you do a pre-order or something like that, and then people come and they go, I can't find it, right? I can't find it. And that's actually the point, right? That we have to try and make enough items that, again, here's the thing about collecting, it can be both exhilarating and frustrating at the same time. Because when you find it and you get it, it's really behind. You guys ever done this one? Okay, I've done it. And you go and you see it, and then you look both ways. And somehow you're doing something illegal, and you look both ways, and then you take it. If there's two, you have a little bit of a cat and mouse chase game, and that's sort of the joy of collecting. And that's what some of those work. And some of them went really fast on the Superman end caps and stuff like that. And a couple of the other ones that we did exclusive with some of our retailers. And then the fans come to me and go, Lee, you need to make more. It's like, no, I'm not going to.
We also have our Superpowers iteration as well. So stylized translation, theatrical designs. And since the vehicles are great, we decided to do T-Craft in the Superpowers line. That's the most fun part of the Superpowers, in my opinion. And then we just talked about it in front of them. We have up for pre-order right now. David Courtsweat resin statue, 12 inches with that posable cape, all that great detail. So if you've been collecting our theatrical statues, this will stop right in.
Yeah, and like I said, the thing that's nice about the cape now is that you can put it into that position, and right, you put it in, swoop it around, make the wind feel like whatever you want, right? Some people don't mind it, they want the hero pose, they want it to be down or whatever. I don't care, it's your figure here. But I think that we've done a pretty good job now figuring out how to do literally foldable capes, and it looks pretty good, and it stays, right? I mean, that's the key. If you get too weak of a wire, then it gets limp and it droops, right? But if you got one that's not too thick, if you get too thick, it doesn't look good artistically. And so we found a way where it actually, I think, is working really good. Not only on this side, but even on the 7-inch figures too. Some of the Batman, Superman, some of the other licenses that we've done a good job on it. So that's part of, like I said, letting you guys have fun with your own.
Back to the comics though, we got a lot of characters to reveal here. So Riddler, Scarecrow, I know you guys have been streaming for that for a while. Starman, Static Shock's going to be from Toys Store exclusive, classic Batgirl, and that two Batman's on. So lots here. We're getting through the whole universe.
We're only got 8,000 more.
Yeah, right. On the collector edition side, obviously we've got some figures up for pre-order and coming soon. So we've got Beast Boy here at Sdcc booth. He's on sale here at their booth, San Diego Comic Con. We have Kite Man as part of the Target Summer Geek Out event. So check Target out for Kite Man. So lots coming here. And then figures we just revealed here at the con in their full 3D form. So Metron, Mirror Master, Classic Deathstroke. And then we've slowly been completing the JSA after midnight. the newest edition there along with Batman and the movie.
Yeah, no, I've said it before, one of the things about making toys like sports collecting, that you can create the rookie figure of some of these characters, right? I mean, obviously Superman, Batman, Flash are gonna be 10,000 of them and have been since the 60s. So it's fun to be able to come up with a figure that is the very first time they've ever been in plastic. And that's, most of those are doing really well for us because there's enough of like a niche geekdom group of you that just go, oh my gosh, nobody's ever done that character. And they go, Kite Man, who's making Kite Man, right? And so, like, we're gonna go get, I don't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is, but it's the only one. And we don't really, here's the thing, we don't really make a lot of them. When we go that deep into the cut, we don't make a lot. So if you get it and you hold it, then all of a sudden, sometimes those are the ones that oddly are the like most sought after ones on eBay, right? And if they're not now, I'm telling you later, right? I'll tell you what's happening. I'm going to digress the comic book. I'm going to tell you what's happening. I got this run of this comic book called Spawn, right? 367 I just sent to the printer the other day, right? So, but there's ebbs and flows in all businesses, right? Just ask anybody that runs any company, I don't care how big or small, there's ebbs and flows. The longer you are around, you have that. There's some gaps in the Spawn collecting